In today's video, we're going to be going with the top 6 exercises to bulletproof your rotator cuff. I'm Dr. Garrett Cohen with GuerrillaZen Fitness, and today we're going to be talking about your shoulder. So what actually is the rotator cuff? The rotator cuff is a combination of 4 muscles and tendons that work to stabilize your shoulder. Those are the teres minor, subscapularis, infraspinatus, and supraspinatus. All these muscles function together to stabilize the humerus head in the glenoid, especially when you're raising your arm up overhead. So there are actually 2 types of impingement, internal and subacromial. Today we're going to be focusing on subacromial because that's the most common, what commonly affects the rotator cuff. So your humerus sits in the glenoid fossa. It's called like a cup and saucer is a good way to imagine it. In a healthy moving shoulder, basically you get a nice pivot of the humerus there when you're raising your arm up overhead. But in our postural days of sitting all the time, the shoulder gets rotated forward, our traps get overactive, and so it can actually pull up the humerus here. So instead of pivoting, now it goes superior, it actually runs into the bottom of the acromion. And so the tendons and the soft tissue that live in there, basically they get really irritated over time, and that's what can create the tearing, the pain, the inflammation in there, and that, like I said, over time can create these issues. So there are specific tests that can show us which tendons or soft tissues are actually being irritated in the shoulder, but knowing that information doesn't change our treatment plans that much, so it's not as relevant. However, if you've had a major trauma or a specific like sports injury, that information is more relevant. So 2 quick and easy tests to see if subacromial impingement is the cause of some of your pain, we're going to go over them here. So the first one, you internally rotate your shoulder, so basically bring your thumb towards the back, and then you're just going to lift your arm straight up, as you can see I'm doing with Blake. If you get pain right in the shoulder here, there's a good chance there's some subacromial impingement happening there. The second one, you take the arm, reach across the other shoulder, and then lift it up here. Sometimes that can cause pain, or if not, you can do it yourself, or have a friend just give you a little bit of resistance. If there is pain and tension there, we're pretty sure there's some subacromial impingement happening, which is damaging the rotator cuff. These first 2 mobilizations are using a foam roller, okay? So I'll have Blake, the first one is for the thoracic spine. Thoracic spine tends to get really rounded forward from sitting all day or just bending looking at our phones all day. And so this is a foam roller. You can get them all over the place and they're awesome. So go ahead, Blake, lay on his back. Go ahead, good there. So you want the foam roller right at about the mid-back. I don't want you doing this into the low back, the lumbar spine at all. It doesn't do very well in there. So what I'm gonna have him do is lift his hips up, okay, good. And then have him bring his arms up overhead and just roll back and forth. And so this is adding good thoracic extension into those joints there, and it just feels fantastic. And you'll probably get a couple pops and cracks in there. This area, you can do so much with it with the foam roller here.
You can also add in a little bit of active extension, which is a little bit more, you're using the foam roller more as a fulcrum here instead of a tool to release the musculature around the thoracic spine. You're just using it to kind of force the spine to bend around, and you can do this for a couple reps as well, but like Dr. Garrett said, do not do this on the lower back.
So the next one with the foam roller is going to be used to release the lats. So go ahead and go on your side. Yep, and the foam roller is right on the lats. So this one I don't want you to roll as much. I want you to just find those tender areas and even roll back a little bit, good, back and forth. And I like to turn the hand up to get a little extra, and then you can, as Blake's already doing, you can bring it up off the ground to get even more stretch of the lats there. This is fantastic because the lats are internal rotators of the shoulders. When they get really tight posturally, they pull everything forward and can create that impingement right in the front of the shoulder there. All right guys, the next mobilizations are going to be using a lacrosse ball. And so you can use a tennis ball with these as well, but I like the lacrosse ball because it's a little bit harder and a little bit stickier, and the dog doesn't go for this as much. So what we're going to be working on, some dogs might, but what we're going to be working on is the pec musculature. So this is going on the same thing. The pec gets tight from sitting all day. It pulls the shoulder forward, creates that impingement. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give it to Blake. He's going to put it right here, basically where his shoulder meets his chest, and you go up into a door jamb. Basically, yep, find that tender area and then have his hand go here. Once you find that tender, and come back and forth. So this will start to strip out the musculature underneath the ball there. All right, so this next one for the lacrosse ball is gonna be for the upper trap. So he basically puts it right on the trap there and then bends forward, goes right against the door jamb there. Can't really see the ball as well, but you get the idea. And so this is trying to get the trap to relax, which helps to set the humerus into a better position so you don't run into that acromion and pinch and impinge all those tissues in there.
Another thing that works just as effectively as this to release the upper traps, if not better, is a TheraCane release tool.
Absolutely.
That somewhat limited, but I find that that is one of the best things that you can use to release the upper traps. So if you haven't gotten one of those, pick one up off of Amazon. They're pretty affordable. It's called a TheraCane.
All right, guys, the stability exercises we're gonna go over are geared towards stabilizing the shoulder blades, or the scapulas in the back here. The shoulder blades form the base for which your shoulder moves on. So if this is sloppy back here, it creates a ton of tension up here and it just doesn't move very well, which can lead to that injury. So the first exercise we do, it's called a bulldog. So we're gonna be on all four, hands flat on the table here. And so the cues are pretty simple. All you're gonna do is you're gonna push up through your thoracic spine, good, and then externally rotate, basically push your elbow pits towards the front. This is gonna start to stabilize the serratus anterior, which is often inhibited from sitting all day in bad positions, but it's super important for tracking the shoulder blades as well as creating a nice stable platform for the shoulder to move from. All right, guys, this next exercise is geared towards strengthening the lower traps and the middle traps. So go ahead, Blake, you're gonna put your head on the bench here and grasp the dowel, and then keeping your arms straight, he's just gonna lift here. And so what this is doing is it's strengthening kind of the lower trap and the middle trap here, which are super important for stabilizing the scapula here. And so another reason this is so important is because it's a thing called reciprocal inhibition, which basically means that if these muscles are shut down and the traps are overactive, if we can strengthen the lower muscles, it actually neurologically inhibits the upper traps, which then can further help the shoulders here.
Yeah, so for those of you that get a lot of tension and tightness up here that's chronic, it's because you have weakness in these muscles lower down the shoulder blades in here, which this exercise targets. So the stronger you can get these muscles in between the shoulder blades, the more that's going to inhibit and help you shut down those upper traps, which are chronically tight in a lot of people.
All right, guys, that's everything for today. If you enjoyed the content today, check out our Bulletproof Your Shoulders workout. It can be found at the link down here. That link will take you to our website, which then you can put in your email address and we'll send you that workout right away. It's all geared towards a lot of the stuff we went over today, but just more in depth. So bulletproofing your shoulders, making you more resilient, injury resistant, as well as just some really good strengthening ideas for that area.
If you're looking for another place to get that workout, you can click this link right over here. That will take you to the website, just like the link in the description box below will. If you like this video and you want to see another video similar to this one, then click this button right over here. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the GuerrillaZen YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do that over there. And that's it for today. We'll see you next time.